So, welcome to the Theatre of Dreams. This is your extra time edition on a Friday, and with me, as usual, is Richard Irvine and Don Bars from Bars Tars. Guys, how are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Richard, some of us haven't been away in the hot climate. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the reason why he was so quick in responding in that way.
he still looks a bit drunk, doesn't he? Actually,
Do you like the tan? The tan?
he's got a little red thing on his wrist as well, which
Ah,
he's
well,
kind of
Yeah,
lethargic
that's
by.
a holiday romance, but don't tell them.
do you know, I didn't know you could get so much sun in the bar, Dom. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we've got Tantastic just down the road on Deansgate, so I just had a couple of minutes in there on a
Do you
bed and
know?
breakfast rate.
Do you know, Richard? I think he doesn't go away at all. I think he just goes to Fantastic for a
Yeah,
week.
unfortunately, I see the photographs, and
You got the
sometimes
evidence.
there's a foot or a leg in it, so I presume it's his.
Well, it's there's a question of whether some teams have gone on holiday, because
Oh,
this week in the title race, 2-2 at Wolves. Does that mean that the title's on, or have Arsenal, with that draw, maybe just shown a wee bit of resilience? What do you reckon, Dom? How are you feeling?
surprised is what I'm thinking. I know we all have the banter about Arsenal's mentality, but if you ask most sensible City fans, we're living in absolute hope rather than expectation. But the last two results while I've been away, I mean, I've had a great time on the football side. While we've had the Liverpool result, and then for us, and we've had a little run of wins. Seem to get a few people back from injuries, but totally reliant on this Arsenal team to just fall away a little bit. But it's surprising, isn't it? I mean, it's two wins in nine. The draw at Brentford, which actually on paper is not, it's a draw, and they'll get grief for it. But actually, Brentford away is a tough gig for anybody. Always has been, and they're
By the way, just to chip in very quickly, Brentford could have quite easily have won that at the
they
end.
could have, yeah. And interestingly, they bullied them with the set piece routine, which was very funny actually. That Arsenal were moaning about the corners and the goalkeeper situation. That was quite funny. But I watched the Wolves game, and before it happened, I didn't have a crystal ball, but I was watching it thinking, well, they're going to win this, and Wolves are trying, and they're better than they used to be. They don't get me wrong, the bottom of the league for the right reasons, but they're definitely harder to break down. But I was just amazed as I was watching the game that Arsenal at no point put the foot on the neck of Wolves and tried with any momentum and tempo at any point. Even when they went 1-0 up, they just sat back in like a uniform block of 10 and waited to break away. And I watched the game and you could just see Wolves having more and more and more of the ball. And then when it went 2-0, you think, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, they've just got no quality. But bizarrely, actually scored two very, very good goals. The first one was a belter. Um,
Yeah,
but you just look and it was just so lethargic and it's just not very inspirational. If you're the Arsenal fan base, you're thinking that you're just frozen with fear. They just sit there in banks of a bank unit hoping to break away. And let's be truthful, their front three is not the greatest front three. And it was just a really, really flat performance. Granted, it was freezing cold in the Midlands with wind and rain. And I know it sounds daft, but it has a bearing. But
that
I,
last that I didn't watch the game done, but I saw that last goal. I saw the goals, and I saw that last goal where the keeper and the defender obviously both went for the
yeah,
same ball. Now, as a goalkeeper and defense, you've got to be one of you's got to be calling for that. Really, it should be the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper shouting a really strong mine, getting a clean punch, job done. That's that situation dealt with. But they both went for the same ball. Therefore, it didn't go very far. Then soon it came back in. And what I loved is I went back retrospectively and watched. These guys, these Arsenal fans that watch the game and react
mm,
when that second goal went in. So funny. I mean, they're so quick. At 2-0, they'll be all praising that everyone, but then as soon as the dial goes to 2-all, they're quick to criticize. Then they come down bad on their
yeah,
players and management. So 2-0, everything's honky dory. 2-all,
end
gosh,
of the world.
they can't stop criticizing. It's dead funny.
Do you think when Arsenal winning, the football always looks better? But from what I remember about this game, and my memory is terrible, but I thought the Wolves made Arsenal look not that great. I mean, there was a lot of passing, but there wasn't a lot of. I don't think there was a lot of. coming from it, and I was just trying to work out they're not really that exciting, are they?
I've
Or
been
have I
quite
got that wrong?
no, you're quite right. I've been quite damning a few episodes ago to call them a high class, expensive Wimbledon, right? I'm sorry, I'm not changing that, and that's been proven in the last few weeks. Whether it's fear, whether it's Arteta's pragmatic approach stifling creativity, Pep will be criticised for ruining Grealish and all this sort of stuff. I'm not being funny. What's he doing with Odegaard and Eze? Eze's a quality player. Why has he not got any freedom to play? He's on the bench. He comes on. He never even touched the ball. Gyökeres is a waste of time. Martinelli's bang on average. Saka's quality player, but he's not having a great season.
No.
He's
He's not.
just been given a huge pay rise, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not criticising him. I'd love him at City, but he's not having a great season. We talk about Phil Foden getting hammered at the moment for not being off form, and rightly so. But Saka's just as bad. I'm sorry. He doesn't bode very well for England, that, I'm afraid.
I just think this is a massive weekend. I think if you beat Newcastle at home, which is, we'd say is
we need to be up for it. We need
yeah.
to be up for it.
And then, of course, Thomas Frank's gone at Tottenham. So they've got a caretaker manager in place, is it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Tottenham.
yeah. The
So,
Italian guy.
Never heard of him, by the way.
You're probably saying that Arsenal have got a tricky game there. So if that goes against Arsenal, and I think the crucial thing was City's buys in the transfer window. Of course, the Mark Gay and the guy from Bournemouth, Dom, help me out, the winger, Semenyo. So I think Semenyo and Gay, I think maybe the real, the crucial parts of this chess game, really.
Well, we've been saying though for some time that we thought the turn of the year and the march through to May, if you like, is going to be critical. And right now, I mean, you couldn't actually split. If you look at the table, you can hardly split Arsenal or City in terms of the stats in a lot of ways. In terms of goal difference, in terms of how many you've lost a few more, they've drawn a few more, and you're 5 points, but assume you win your game in hand, which I can't remember what that game is. You're going to be breathing down their neck at 2-0. This is going to be a massive test for Arteta and a massive test for that squad. And you put here Arsenal bottle jobs. I guess the problem is in the past they have been under Arteta, and this is a huge challenge for them now. And it could be a really interesting. Well, it's got to be an interesting race for the title, and I guess at the same time, can you rule out Villa? I mean, it feels like Villa will probably secure third. So you're talking about a title race, and who's going to get fourth, fifth, and sixth, maybe.
Villa, you've got to just keep in the mix. It would be very, very disrespectful to not throw them in there, only on the basis that. They're there to, if they keep it going and keep their own momentum. They've had a couple of daft results as well where they let themselves down. That's what happened. But it feels like at the moment it's a season where points on the board are more important than games in hand. Because I don't think any of that top three are capable of getting a run of 6 wins on the bounce, right? None of them. So this has got a points total of 80. It feels it's feeling like the year of Leicester City or something where they won it with not a great deal of points because nobody's absolutely brilliant. And they just need to be there or thereabouts. But even though they're having this wobble, they're still favourites. But psychologically, the media, the fan base, the PTSD they've got from messing up in recent years is there. And the calmness at City from our, TikTok pundits, to use Rich's analogy of when he was listening to the Arsenal guys, Arsenal TV, we're just less emotional. And I think that is worth at least 3 points to be less emotional because we know that it's still only February. We're not getting carried away going, we're going to win this now. We're going to win every game. We've got 12 to go. I feel like if we win 9, I think we'll win it. Will it come down to the Arsenal City match? Probably.
When's that?
Probably. Good question. March, I think. But
okay.
My worry with that one, if I'm honest, is everyone's taking it for granted that, City just need to beat Arsenal. I actually think Arsenal are better when they've got the backs against the wall and it plays into their style of football. And I think the game I'm most worried about is them coming to the Etihad and nicking it 1-0 or something like that because they are more solid than us at the back normally. But their lack of creativity makes it a very disappointing championship challenging team because you look at the quality they've got. They don't play with any freedom, any freedom. There's retaining the ball and being sensible, and the City way of ticky tacky and all that. That sometimes people have found it boring. I'm sorry, Arsenal are far more boring. You take Declan Rice out of that team, it's bang on average in front of the back four, bang on average. But he's holding it together with that back four. And when it doesn't go right and the back four wobble, they haven't got the ability to go up the other end of the pitch and create chances. That goal, he never hardly had to make a save. The goals he scored were probably, if you go and look at the stats, I bet it was only 3 or 4 on target in the whole game. That's not enough. So when they then make a mistake in the last minute to go 2-2, of course you've got to blame the defence. But actually, at what point did they go and kill Wolves and go 3 or 4-1 up? They didn't. Never even tried.
Top versus bottom, and bottom with a very low amount of points. Yeah. It was David versus Goliath, wasn't it?
It really was. It really was. Well, look, let's move away from the Premier League because the other talking point in the last week has been what happened to Benfica. And again, it was a subject of racism and racist abuse and involved the Benfica player Gianluca Prestiani and Vinicius Junior. What I know what's happened in terms of the allegedly, Vinicius Junior accused Prestiani of calling him something racist. Now, my understanding is then Vinicius Junior went off and sat on the bench for a bit, and there was a 10-minute interlude. But what do you make of this, guys? Because is it now the fact that if somebody covers their mouth, you have to assume that they're saying something racist? What do you think?
Well, obviously, we've been seeing this in the covering of mouths with the hand. We've been seeing a while, even when players are talking to each other, even opposition players, because they don't want to be lip read. It's been weird for a while now, and that's been happening for a couple of years.
It has.
But what seems to have happened here is there's been some niggle throughout the game, and of course, then Vinny Junior scores a really great goal. Goes over to the flag,
yes,
which is obviously where a lot of the away fans in that area, and he does really just something like a bit of a samba dance in front of the flag.
Exactly.
Now he doesn't run into the crowd towards the crowd. He doesn't actually do the old cupping ear. He doesn't do any of that. He just does it like I suppose you say a kind of a sensual kind of samba dance, pointing at the actual club flag. I still don't think that doesn't merit anything. Doesn't condone Mourinho's explanation of it. Was bizarrely the referee gave him a yellow card for that. By the way,
celebration.
We also need to talk about why the referee gave him a yellow card for that, because you're allowed to celebrate. You can't take your shirt off. He didn't take his shirt off.
He didn't go into the crowd.
He didn't go into the crowd. He did a little dance at the. Why on earth was he given a yellow card? I haven't seen the explanation for that. However, to go back to the point is I believe the opposition player said something under his shirt, and I think it was actually connection to calling him, something related to a monkey. That's what it said. Now, Mbappe says he heard it. He says other members of the opposition team must have heard it. But the problem is, of course, is proving this, and it made me think of that incident. So to go back, Rodney, sorry. He then went and reported to the referee, and the referee then used this symbol, which is this cross hands, which is apparently a timeout, but I think it's now because of used if there's been a racist incident on the pitch. You then have to leave the pitch. So he didn't walk off the pitch. The referee signaled it.
Right.
There's 10 minutes. Well, I don't know, really, I wasn't watching the game, but apparently 10 minutes of conversations and arguments, and then they took back to the field. And Trent Alexander-Arnold said it was disgusting, and their heads just weren't in the game afterwards. But it's not the first time. Apparently, he's got a history of being abused on the pitch. But it is this new method of doing it, because it's a case of like he said, she said, isn't it? Unless you've got audio pickup, I don't know how they're going to. It did remind me, to be brief, about that incident quite a long time ago now with John Terry. Do you remember?
Yes.
who was who got away with it. I think I'm not sure he did get away with it, but
Anton, was it Anton Ferdinand?
Yes, it was.
yes, because then John Terry was obviously advised to say, "Do you think I called you a?" Uh, and that's he said, so that was his way of kind of a loophole. You think I called you a that? And that's what he was saying. Anyway, so these guys now have thought, well, I can't go. If I'm going to say something horrible, allegedly, if I say it under my shirt, what are the chances of me being proved? And this is where I think it's going to be interesting with this because, but I think Mourinho's reaction to it was bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, I thought it was bad, and then bizarrely, the player in question or the club made a statement defending the player and also said that he didn't make a racial comment. If he did make a comment, it was a homophobic one. So, I
Well,
mean,
that's okay then. Don't worry about that.
yeah, so he's got the wrong end of the stick completely. He made a homophobic slur, not a racial one. Exactly. I mean, I think Benfica have handled it very badly as well.
There's a,
Well,
look, it's not you can't condone it, but you've got there's so many problems there. I mean, look, fundamentally, right, and this is you've got to generalize this, so it's not aimed at any individual people who'd be listening, but the South Americans, particularly, which is where this guy came from,
Yeah, Argentina.
yeah, the South Americans do have a different outlook, whether anyone agrees or not. Well, we clearly don't, being in our culture and our community being so multi-racial over here, but there is still an endemic issue with the attitude towards different coloured skin in South America. There just is, and also homophobia. Right? They're far more verbal about it, and it's not as horrific almost to do it to a point. I'm not so. It tends to come quite often from the South Americans insulting other people in their using their phrases, which we would think absolutely horrific. Like certain swear words in English in America don't mean anything, but over here they're absolutely horrific. You know what I mean? There's a translation issue in there, not condoning anything. Mourinho just went about it all the wrong way and got
yeah.
himself down a rabbit hole with his usual art of deflection, saying that even if it's statistically right, you can't start saying, well, it always happens to Vinicius. What is it, 20 times, did he say? I think it was 20 times to that one player, basically saying he cries wolf. That's what
Yeah.
he's saying.
Yeah.
And so fundamentally, we'll never know because it's one word against the other because of this putting. And what do we do about that? Do we stop allowing players? Is it almost a yellow card to be doing that? Is it? Now, I understand why it came from this hand cupping under the shirt stuff because of the media scrutiny just generally in football when they're all talking to each other on the pitch, even just about what they're having for tea tonight. They don't want it being picked up by lip readers on social. It's a very difficult situation because they just want a bit of privacy, which is difficult on a football field in front with millions of people watching. But why has he done that? It's very difficult. As soon as he's done that, he comes across as being guilty, doesn't he?
It does.
Because he's hiding it, and he probably has made some sort of Argentinian slur. He probably has. We can't prove it. He's hidden his mouth. There's no cameras picking it up, and it'll all end up what?
By the way, there was also evidence.
Him.
There was also evidence of fans in the stadium making monkey gestures and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So it's. I think Mbappe was saying, all the fans in the stadium were great, but unfortunately, this one player Well, actually, there was evidence later that there was racism coming from the crowd as well.
I think the key thing here is that everybody in football and managers, especially significant managers like Mourinho, need to be responsible and careful about how they respond here. And unfortunately, Mourinho is always very defensive of his players, and a lot of brilliant managers always have been. They go out and they attack for their players, and then they retract or retreat maybe later on. But I think when it's this topic, they almost need to watch their language and be more balanced about it, rather than jumping to the defense of their player without really having.
He really should have just said, "Listen, I can't comment on it at the moment."
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
my player, he's a great lad. I'd be very surprised, but unfortunately, we've got to let this go through the process now. But all I can say is he's a great lad, and I'd be shocked if this was the case. But unfortunately, I can't comment on it because obviously it's going to be investigated. He went completely the other way, really.
Mm.
And then, like Dom said, kind of said, "Oh, this is a bit coincidence here. It's always Vinny making these allegations, isn't it?" And almost as if, like you say, cry wolf.
Yeah, well, let's move on from that. But football, it's a tricky challenge for football in terms of how to do it. But I think ultimately you have to have some leadership, and you have to also be objective, and you can't have managers jumping to the defense of
I
people.
know. I've just realised Benfica also came out with the fact is we're not a racist club because one of our most famous player was
Eusebio.
Eusebio, and therefore how could we possibly, be, So I don't know.
Oh well. Anyway, let's move on. Dom, you wanted to talk about City Liverpool. I wasn't quite sure what you're on about here because
Well,
because
I
only
was
one of you are in the title race, surely.
I was in a cocktail. Well, it's the first time we've won there properly in front of a crowd since 2003. So I didn't want to miss my opportunity. We couldn't do the call last week. I think again Richard wasn't available probably, but I was there watching it in a cocktail bar. I wish I'd been able to have gone. We always live in fear of going to Anfield, but it was just, to be honest with you, I mean, it was just a great game generally. We haven't had enough great games this. We just haven't had enough great games this season. We can talk about the good bits of the middle teams in the league who've done well, but it's not been enough real humdingers. And I just thought that wasn't the best City Liverpool game in terms of ultimate quality like we've seen in the last 5 years, but it was at least a proper game of football where two teams are trying to score. Szoboszlai's free kick was just absolutely incredible and just epitomised what he is this season. Like he's a one-man show, isn't he? He's unbelievable. And then
Was
obviously
that a far out dink, like really quite distant, and it was one of these dinking balls that went in. Well, that's
No,
what it was.
It's Roy the Rovers.
It looked like he just come off the edge of his boot and it went sailing. He just bent. It's just beautiful. And you thought they were going to do exactly what they did to Arsenal in September and get a 1-0 win with a Szoboszlai free kick. And then all of a sudden, City went a little bit more agricultural with a ball in the box. Hallelujah. I was shouting at the telly going, just get it in the box. Because actually, this Haaland thing about him looking a bit lazy and out of the game, just sometimes pump it in there.
One second before the goal, Neville said, it's about time Haaland and who scored the goal?
Bernardo Silva.
Silva. We need Haaland and Silva to get into this game. 2 seconds later, that happened.
It was a ball in and a knockdown and a goal. And then obviously we get the penalty in the last minute.
Well,
that was a penalty.
I'll tell you what.
However, I have to bring it back to the Mo Salah pullback, which was not a penalty because it was outside the box, but surely that was a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And should that have been a red card?
It'd be difficult to disagree. It'd be difficult to disagree. Yeah,
there was a defender behind.
Yeah, but he was going to get a shot away. I think he'd have got the shot away, which is what it's about. It's a goal-scoring opportunity.
I just don't think we get those decisions against Man City anymore. We've had some real dodgy ones over the last few years. We all know, the karate kick in the chest. I mean, for goodness sake, if you look at that now, that McAllister karate kick into his chest, and that was not given as a penalty. We just don't have the rub of the green against Man City when it comes to these decisions.
Well, yes. I mean, we haven't won at your place for a very, very long time. But, I mean, you were doing ever so well until that moment, being ever so gracious, and then you just cracked. I think
the fair result would have been a draw, personally.
No, we deserved to win it, without a doubt. We just left it till the last minute. The goal that wasn't a goal was brilliant, though, wasn't it? I mean, it actually, technically, it was right what they did.
Remind me.
So when he broke away and Cherky got the goalie was up the other end of the pitch. I mean, it was a foul by Szoboszlai to start with because Haaland was away. And then he yanked him and then he yanked him back. So there was no other alternative than to, unfortunately, disallow it. And the result was correct by VAR. But it was just just
It was
great to
from
see that.
halfway, wasn't it? It was a halfway roll ball.
Yeah, there was no keeper in the net, and it just
That's,
became a race. But it was just, yeah, it was just a very good game, and on for once we actually got a result there, because it is a dead difficult place.
Let's
To
not
go.
forget let's not forget your keeper pulling off that save right at the
Oh,
death.
oh, what a say! But this shift, this pendulum swing, had that have been a draw, or you'd gone and won that, Rich, and then Arsenal hadn't bottled it, and just wobbled like they have, we'd be talking now about them being a dozen points clear, and it'd be game
Yeah.
over.
No,
yeah.
I have to say, credit where credit's due. I was impressed with Man City that day. However, I think a fair result would have been a draw. However, you got the win. And if you're going to win titles, you need games like you need
You need
results like
luck.
that.
You need luck. You need
So
luck. You always need luck.
let's just remind ourselves of the table. Arsenal
Let's.
27 played, 58 points, and in the last 6 games, 3 draws, 2 wins, and a loss. City sitting with 26 played, so game in hand, obviously, but although most teams have 53 points, 5 behind. So if you assume they win their game in hand, they're down to 2 points, which is within a win. Villa are sitting with 50 points, having played 26. Manchester United are sitting at 45 points, having played 26. Chelsea are now in fifth position with 44 points. Liverpool, 42 points. Richard, you're 8 points off Villa.
I know.
And
That's why that Man City game was such a blow. Because even you guys now are in a strong position. I hate to say it, even though I was glad that guy didn't get his hair cut. I thought it was funny. West Ham going 1-0 up, and then Casemiro scoring, and then that getting disallowed. I thought that was, but then he scored a good goal. Your new Sesko.
yes,
Yeah, great
good
goal.
goal. Good goal.
So anyway, that guy, 5 wins in a row is tough. So when that guy's going to cut his hair, I don't know. Anyway, going back to that, he has done a very good job, Michael Carrick. Who have you got next, Rodney, out of interest?
We've got a Monday night game, and
Away at Everton.
away at Everton, which is a tough game. 8 o'clock.
Yeah, but Everton haven't really settled in that stadium yet, so that's winnable.
Yeah, I say a tough game because we don't seem to play well when we're playing against the Moyes team.
Moyes, yeah, he'll be up for that, Moyes.
And
Won't
he'll
he?
be
Yeah.
up for it. But so that's Monday night's game. And then
Rodney, out of interest, have you got any ways of getting a ticket for that?
I think you go into the ballot. So
You've got no other connections of getting a ticket.
I know, to be honest, and
But tell you what, because Rodney, that stadium's magnificent.
I would love to go. I would love to go. I don't actually have. I used to have more chance of getting away tickets than home tickets. Now, obviously, a season ticket. I don't. I don't tend to do many aways. But I haven't done any aways for a long time, apart from Wembley. And we've not been there recently that much.
It's just
But,
a beautiful stadium, and it's
I know, and you like to see. You like to see all grounds, you like to see the grounds in the National League. There's something about a football ground, isn't there? But that's Monday night's game. Let's just go down the table and let's just remind ourselves: Tottenham, 16th at 29 points. Now, who is the new Tottenham boss, by the way? Is there a new Tottenham boss? Is that true?
Yeah, he's the ex-Juventus manager who's there till summer as a caretaker role. So
yeah.
none of us can even remember his blinking name.
Is it Igor Tudor?
Yeah, that's it. Well done.
Oh,
so
God.
I can't even comment on his credentials and start to make up knowledge on that one. But their man Nottingham Forest have gone for another reset. They're perennial. The pair of them are used to sacking everybody, aren't they? Crikey, those two clubs love a change of manager. It's the ownership.
What makes that game interesting against Arsenal? We put a lot of emphasis on this next game for City and Arsenal. Is that, of course, Tottenham are desperate to win that as well because they're close to relegation.
Oh, they are. That's what I'm saying. I mean, at the moment, Tottenham are sitting with 29 points. They're 5 points above West Ham in 18th points in the drop zone. And they're 2 points above Forest, but they could get pulled in there. And you look at in the last 8 games, they've had 4 losses and 2 draws. That's a shocking result.
West Ham were not dead and buried, but adrift at least. And it's just found a little bit of momentum. And had they have hung on against United, because it was a 94th minute equaliser, wasn't it, or something from Sesco? I tell you what, there was a point where that league table, they were one result away from getting out the bottom three. And Forest and Spurs, as much as they're, you look at paper and think they shouldn't be in that situation, you get sucked in. You just get sucked into the problems at the bottom. I remember it well, unfortunately, when I was younger. City teams that were too good to go down that did. So we'll see what happens. It's interesting, that third from bottom spot is tighter than we all thought it might be. It might get a little bit interesting, that.
So am I right in saying both Tottenham and Forest have had at least 3 managers this season so far? Each.
No, Thomas Frank was there at the beginning of the season, wasn't he?
Sure. Yes.
So this is their second.
Oh, their second, but then Forest had Sean Dyche before, and they had Nuno as well, didn't they?
By the way, there's rumours that Thomas Frank is possibly going to Crystal Palace.
Oh, right.
Yeah, would make sense. I mean, he's not a bad manager. He's anybody that goes to Tottenham seems to get swallowed up. I don't know what it is about that place.
Is that because they assume Glasner's going to go at the end of the season, Richard?
Well, Glasner's told them he's going at the end of the season.
That's right, he has. You're right. You're absolutely
right. It's whether Glasner, they keep him till the end, or they bring in Thomas Frank to get started. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be interesting at the bottom, and whether West Ham can pull in Forest or even Spurs. You sort of can't believe the Spurs could possibly go down, but their form, no wins in the last 6 games. It's really iffy there. Let's talk a little bit about VAR, because surprisingly, with the last round of FA Cup games, I think people were actually missing VAR, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it comes back to what we all want it to be, which is obvious errors, decisions that are pretty quick to see. It deals with it. Where the only, into a massive VAR conversation, where we struggle is the incredible forensicness of looking for an elbow and a fingernail. That's the problem. But when the referees rely on it more, so there's no doubt about it, in those early rounds of the FA Cup, I question the ability and sharpness of the decision making of those assistants, particularly, to put the flag up, because they're used to being able to have a get out of jail, which is VAR will just have a double check. But these cup games, I can't think of a particularly dramatic situation at the weekend just gone. But when you're watching it, it is very annoying when you can see a clear offside. I mean, Omar Mamouche scored a goal against Salford. We won. It didn't ultimately change the result. But he was on. He scored an absolute worldie to go 2-0 up, and he got disallowed. And you go back, and he's clearly on. But then you go to a league match like the one at Arsenal Wolves. Arsenal get their second goal. It's disallowed by the liner, but very quickly it was obvious that he was on, and they gave it. Correct decision. Even as a City fan, you're going, yeah, you want it to be right. It's the forensicness that we don't like.
I don't envy. Like, I've been doing a bit now for obviously Oscar's football team when they're going to start doing offsides now. It's this active and inactive, and you've also got to, if someone's inactive, they might be in front of the goalkeeper. I mean, that is sometimes a linesman can't possibly get that correct, because you've now, in the old days, obviously, if you were in an offside position, your offside's offside, whatever player. Well, but now if you're not, if the ball doesn't go to you in your direction, that player who's standing offside you can't flag offside because he's inactive. It's only the player that the ball's going to that's active. It is a minefield, and then who would want to be a linesman now? Because it is quite hard to get. I mean, and when they're so close, you definitely need VAR.
Do you think that it's not so much about VAR being great, but it's about the modern day referee getting so used to it that actually when they don't have it, they've lost that sort of capability. So
Yeah,
And therefore, if it's very difficult for a modern day new
Yeah,
referee to switch off between relying on VAR and then
yeah,
being able to not to.
that's a really good point. That is, I suppose that's what this whole
yeah,
conversation's about, really. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
yeah.
So
That's to me. I agree. I mean, I know that there'll probably be technology, money, and lower level grounds not being able to have it. But surely, with the money that's in the media and on the TV, is it really that hard for somebody in a studio back in London to be making a quick decision? I just don't. I just don't understand the inconsistency of the rules. And now we're going to go into the latter stages of the cup. Now it's allowed back in again.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, all right, fair enough. But let's just say Macclesfield and got another great result and got another home draw. What's the difference then? To Macclesfield suddenly can have VAR as a non. I just think the best advert in the FA Cup for VAR was the fact that there was no VAR. Ironically,
I mean, really,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
the handball where Villa, I think it was Villa,
yeah,
and Rooney said it
Newcastle.
was one of the worst decisions he's ever seen. For example, if the referee had been blocked by a player, surely the linesman can see that. So they both need to be working together on that. Because
Which,
for
he's
example,
in the box. He's in the box.
yeah,
Did you see it?
I know, but say for example, the ref was blocked by another attacking player, it's up to the linesman to say, "Ref, that was a clear handball penalty." You know what I mean? So they need to work together on that. I can't believe two people haven't seen that.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I think that's really quite funny, Don, that the best ad for VAR was the games where it wasn't there. But it is that thing where actually people are getting used to it now, and whether they like it or not, they almost would prefer a better decision than necessarily just the speed.
It's the interpretation of things where they're trying. It feels like, particularly when you're in the ground, it feels like they're trying to not give a goal. That's the one where when it's a clear offside or a handball or something like that. But when they're in the box and it's all of a bit of a melee and they're looking for ricochet here and there, that's when it goes on for like 8 minutes or something. It's ridiculous.
If the ball had gone out of play by 15 seconds before, like it happened the other week, they found that the ball had gone out of play and the build-up. Come on,
Yeah,
guys, can I just drop in? This is how we roll here.
I know it's coming. I've just spotted
Mark Gage is here now. Do you want me to ask him to just come on
yeah.
camera?
Bring him on.
Hang on a minute. No, he's just gone up with his girlfriend.
Oh, I was so excited that I thought we were going to have her first.
That'd be so funny. I'll have
you spoken to him yet?
No, he's hardly been here. To be fair,
He could have just turned your phone.
Yeah, sorry. No, we like to keep it. We like to keep it low key.
Tom, we gotta get you. We gotta get you.
My heart was in my mouth then.
we gotta get you branded up because we've got to get you a hat and get you a T-shirt to say "I am a football podcaster. Please talk to me."
Well, I'm very visual here. We could have done that.
I could have asked him whether he deserved to be sent off. Was that a clear goal scoring opportunity?
Okay, keep talking. If he comes back, I'll feign injury.
And can I just say to anybody listening to this, he isn't joking. Actually, where he's sitting, people are bars towers is more like city, the city. Actually, the city residents.
That could have sent our viewing figures up through the roof.
Oh, we could have been almost.
He tempted us there with a little maggot, didn't he? And
he's gone to get a pint of milk. I don't know what's more important, coming on here or his breakfast. I'm not sure. Anyway,
listen.
Why is he not at training anyway? Why is he not at training?
Friday.
They don't train on Fridays.
I'll ask him.
Yeah, and if so, you break off, Dom, whenever you want to speak to Mark. Anyway, the other topic, Mr. Bars, you wanted to talk about was attendances at City and ticket policy. Now, I have seen, and maybe I have seen gaps in the City stadiums at times for different games.
No doubt.
And what is it now? Because I definitely feel there are more tickets that are being prioritized by the clubs to sell on the open market. It feels to me this is what they're doing.
Yeah,
and they might be saying they may not be coming out about it, but they are basically benefiting from flexible pricing, fluctuating pricing, and selling tickets rather than giving it to, if you like, season ticket holders or whatever.
So it's the ability to resell and move on your ticket to friends and family. They've restricted massively. That's what's happened.
That's
Right.
it.
So City's policy has changed now. Not Don't get me wrong. There's various reasons why the ground is not full. Right. Steve MCFC, if you follow him at all on any of Instagram and TikTok and stuff, he's very much the face of City's social media representation. He's the main man, and he did a good piece on this not so long ago, explaining it. There's no doubt that there's a bit of apathy at times. It's the middle of winter. There's financial constraints. We're a Northwest club. There's all those things for the normal fan. Yeah, I get that. But they changed the ticket policy, and I'm using City as an example. I just wondered what else is going on in the league. But City have absolutely created a little bit of disconnect, which is unusual because we've been quite good as a club, haven't we? Creating this, this whole organism of winning stuff on and off the pitch, and they've definitely got it wrong in the last season, which means that if you can't make that game at the last minute, you can't just transfer that over to Bill down the road and stuff like. You can't do it. It's going back on the resale, and we're having too many away fans.
Yeah, but I've heard about
away
this.
fans.
I've heard about this, Dom. But on the turnstile, is there really honestly someone checking that your photo to the ticket? Because I've heard some people say
it's barcode. It's barcoded, Richard. So
sometimes have it on their phone.
No, you can't transfer the ticket. You can't transfer it.
You can't actually. The barcode is dynamic, and you can't just transfer a ticket. So
you can't take a screenshot of it.
No, you can't.
No.
It's dynamic, and one of the justifications is it allows them to control who's going, etc., to the games, and it makes it what you have to do is you can transfer it.
So it's stopping touting as well, yeah.
Well, yes, undoubtedly, and you can pass it on to somebody else who, in United terms, is a United member, and you can pass it to that member, and the ticket then moves dynamically. But actually, I have a good friend who I was able to use he had 2 season tickets, and I've been using them for the last couple of years. And we always did it properly. We always passed it across as members. But then he couldn't renew his season tickets this year, and they just refused to. And we think it could be because he was passing it on so much that they've just decided, you know what, we can actually make more money doing it on the open market.
Yeah, but we're getting away fans in our end, or we're getting tickets not sold.
Yes.
Yeah, and because it's becoming too difficult at the last minute to move things around. That's fundamentally it, because it's a wallet digital ticket with restrictions. That's not the only reason, by the way, but it is creating a disconnect that we have 3 season tickets now. If tomorrow at Newcastle something happens and somebody can't make that game because of illness, traffic, something happens, life, I can't move that like I should have been able to. And then they're going back onto a Viaga Go website or something. They are being resold, and then we're ending up with the wrong fan base in our end.
Well, I tell you what I see at United, and you can always spot it, is that when you go to your seat, and I typically turn up with about 5 minutes to go, you go to your seat, you go to a row, and you see some people sitting there, and they have got all the merch, right?
Yeah.
And you know what's happened is that they have gone to a dinner that is organized by the club. They paid a big price for that, and they get all the merch at the do, part of the ticket price. So the clubs are basically pulling these tickets in, so they have enough tickets to put as part of the package, so they can charge the bigger prices for the ticket.
We've also got tight kickoff times. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about City in isolation, but an 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Is that a good time? What is the right time that's most suitable for everybody? We don't know what time we're kicking off. I mean, even a 3 o'clock on a Saturday feels like an unusual thing now, doesn't it? So we don't know when we're playing. There's a financial restriction, and I'm not gonna hide away from the fact that we've become a spoilt fan base because of this incredible 10-year performance. Is that we have spoilt children in our fan base who well, I'm not going to go because we're not going to win it. We're not playing that well. We're second. We're second. Our generations go, why would that be a problem? You got now all of a sudden you watch, because Arsenal have tripped up a bit. You watch the attendances trickle back up again. So I'm sorry, there is an element of not plastic fans, but the fickleness of football. Now, don't get me wrong, at United you can fill it pretty much all the time. Same at Liverpool. Never would doubt that. Because it's such a huge international pull as well, that even if you were having a bad time and your local fan base didn't want to go, you'll fill it. City are not as big as those two clubs. So when we're not quite at it by our incredible standards, that's what I'm saying here. So there is a spoilt fan base. There is a fan base that can't afford it every 5 minutes. I do think we've got policies wrong. I think we've got policies wrong around Europe. Those tickets in the group stages, I hardly go because I'm not spending any more money at that stage because I'm spoiled and I'm waiting for the round of last 16.
Can I ask you what I had a Stoke City season ticket this year, and when it comes to cup games, etc., of course, you then have to actually purchase another ticket. That your season ticket doesn't cover that, and then they move you to another. And Stoke City, the last few cup games, even against Fulham, whole stands were closed, and the fans that did go were compacted into a small area. To the away fans were mocking Stoke that the one side of the stadium looked empty, and then they put all the Stoke fans in just one area, so that you could be normally sitting in the big stand, the Franklin stand, but then you put into and then you have to purchase another ticket. Don't you think that if you buy a season ticket, it should cover you for cup games? Because I do. I would have gone to that game, and I would have spent my 20 quid probably on food, drinks. Well, I just didn't bother. I thought, no, why should I have to buy another ticket? The season ticket surely should cover you for someone like Stoke, that you might only stay in the cup for a couple of rounds. And if you do, what a bonus. They're getting all the season ticket holder people there who will then surely buy a drink, but they're cutting costs by closing stands so they don't have to staff them. They don't have to.
I think there's two sides to this, Richard, is that by keeping the cup competitions out of it, the season ticket is going to be proportionally cheaper. Not to say that it's cheap, by the way, right? Because they're not cheap. And it allows them not to calculate what they think will be the number of games, so they can maximize the revenue, because they then only sell when there is a game. So if you turn around and said, actually, we think there's going to be 5 cup games this season, and there turns out to be 10, but you've sold at the value of 5, you're losing out. So
surely with Stoke City, they should just be. Footfall should be the important thing, that you're getting people
I tend to agree.
and still spending money.
There was an attendance on that one. Funnily enough, I was talking to my dad about it. He went to the Stoke game, Rich, and he said there was 12,000 there. Now, Stoke can really pull a core 25 when they're at it.
Yeah.
And it's a cold, wet day with another ticket price in Stoke-on-Trent, which is not an affluent area. Back to economic pressures. I think they should be doing something. I think also, by the way, they moved those fans because of TV on that game, because they needed it to look fuller. That's what's happened there.
Yes.
That's definitely what's happened. But
I see. Yeah.
At City, we get 3 home games, so domestic cup games. So in my season ticket, I get the first 3 home domestic games. So for this season, for argument's sake, the way it fell with away fixtures and just the way it falls with the Carabao in the FA Cup, and because we're a successful club, no one can argue with that. We go deep into these competitions, so it's expected that we'll go beyond those 3 games, right? We had Huddersfield, I think it was Brentford, and actually, because of the way the fixtures had gone, the third one that we got in it was Newcastle in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. So that was actually a good one, right?
Yeah.
So it ended up being a comfortable win, but it was good that I got that in the ticket and I went. Now, but I didn't go, why can't it be like, and there's European packages that you can add. But what I'm saying is because of the economic climate, I don't add the European group stages for those 4 games, because it's just more money. And if I try and buy my ticket on the day, it feels rich.
And then I tell you another massive thing that affects I think in 2 words, dodgy sticks, because I think now
Yeah.
that people have, even fans are chanting now when Sky do their reports. Sky, are rubbish. We love our dodgy sticks, and I think people have got these. Rodney, I'm talking about the
I now know
yeah,
what
yeah.
you're talking about. Yes.
And of course, people now know. Oh, can I be bothered going the Etihad tonight? Let's just sit and watch it on the telly, And
Too much
not that I'm
football?
saying all City fans have dodgy
No,
sticks.
but too much football. Is it
Yeah.
too much football then again? Because we played 3 games in 6 days, right? While I was away, we had Liverpool away, Fulham at home, um, and then we had Salford. Now the Salford attendance would be pathetic because they're not being rude to Salford. It's Salford in the cup. It's not included in the cup scheme, so they'd want for my seat like 50 quid. So a couple of us go for £100 to watch a Salford game on a Saturday. I'm sorry, you get enough money from me from the club, and I'll go home and away and I'll back my team, financially, emotionally, whatever. And I'll be there in wherever we go when it matters to be with the boys. But
I must
look
add
after
though.
us.
I must add though. I mean, I'm being, I suppose, a bit hypocritical, but if Stoke had drawn Liverpool or Man City or Arsenal, I probably would have made the effort to have gone to that match because it was Fulham. I suppose you still like. I
I don't know
suppose.
what it was. This glory football, Tom. He picks
But no,
and
but it's
chooses.
true though. But it's
That
true.
is
And,
true.
Fulham actually are a very good Premiership team this season, and Stoke did very very well to only lose 2-1 with a last minute goalkeeping gaff. To be
Yeah, it
truthful,
was. It
right?
was.
So actually, they did themselves proud. But it's a shame for a club with reasonable stature,
Yeah.
Stoke, that they only got 12,000.
Mhm.
And it tells you that's what I'm saying. Salford and City, crap attendance. The Stoke one, 12,000. We're talking City as a case study here, but I'm just saying endemically, the detachment away from fan base attending versus the product of football and TV is just a really difficult fight all the time.
But the one thing I do like is that I do like to see young kids who get to go to a game for the first time.
Mm.
And of a certain age, because you do worry about sometimes the language and stuff, but the ability for them to go to a live football game in a big stadium, whatever the stadium, to be honest, the more that you can create that opportunity for them is
Yeah.
fantastic,
And
But
to be fair to Stoke, there was probably the prices for that cup game probably were cheaper, and they probably had very good offers for children.
yeah. So
Um,
that is good. Can I end the podcast by doing a bit of a quick fire gossip around transfers just to get your reaction?
Oh,
sorry, Rodney. I just need to interrupt. Mo. Sorry, Mo. Mo's there
uh,
just pruning my rhododendrons in the garden, and he's
Sorry.
a bit busy. I was going to bring him over to talk about that goal scoring opportunity, Rodney. But you
Uh,
carry on. You
It's
carry
okay,
on.
Richards. That's salad gardening, isn't
Yeah,
it?
he is. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
salad
really good.
gardening.
Actually, he's
Okay, very
really
good,
good. Yeah,
very good. Well,
it's not just Dom that has footballers in the
well,
So
team.
let's remember Mo has been put out to pasture, so that would make complete
Oh,
sense.
Oh, I've
yeah.
got carrot catering in at the moment, so I have a birthday cake. Right. So a quick fire. Apparently, Alexi McAllister might be on his way from
Yeah,
Liverpool
can't see that.
to
Can't see him going to
United. To
United.
United.
I don't know where
Interesting.
that's.
Cole Palmer, his mate Colton, says he's trying to get him to sign for Manchester United. Do you think Cole Palmer will move somewhere?
I think that's more likely going to United because his family
United
fall
fan.
from Manchester, probably United fans.
And Dom, apparently it could be au revoir City for Haaland. He might be on his way to Paris.
Yeah.
I'll see that. If he's going anywhere, he'll end up cutting his teeth at Madrid or something, won't he? And I mean, if that happens, it happens. At the moment,
Have
it
you
seems
heard?
like
Why have you heard anything like that, Dom?
no, nothing. It's February. Gossip chat is really thin. Let's be truthful. I mean, there's more chance of me getting a role. I think it's no the signings at the moment. Everyone's going to get linked with somebody just to stir up trouble. I guess really.
After this, go and ask Mark when he's eating his cornflakes. Go and ask him if there's any truth in that rumor.
And
I will.
Silva to Spain. Have you heard this one? Apparently, Barca and Atletico are interested. Dom.
Bernardo.
Yes.
So can I? Yeah, actually, yeah. That's so. Bernardo will. I'm pretty, unfortunately, confident that he will move on this summer. He's done 10 years or whatever. he'll end up probably in Spain or Portugal. Probably maybe go back to his own club, and the whole cycle of football life will come to an end. But that lad, when he leaves, is monumental. I mean, everybody talks about him as a good player. I promise you, even when he finishes and everyone's says how great he's been, he will still be underrated.
Yeah.
He has been as good. I'll put him right up there with Kev, Company, Vinny, all of them. He is absolutely a giant of a little man.
Yeah,
He is
giant of a little man.
He's honestly that on the pitch, everything about him.
I thought he was talking about me then, God.
Yeah, honestly, that guy, you'd want to go for a beer with him. You want him to be in the dressing
room. Not you,
room.
Richard. Not you.
I can't speak highly enough of him. That we lost David Silva, who's one of the greatest midfielders this league's ever seen, and how the hell are we going to replace him? And I tell you, as the overall package, vocally, leadership, I'd say Bernardo's better.
And just staying with City, James Trafford apparently prefers a move to Villa over Newcastle.
Yeah, Martinez. We would probably.
I think that would be an excellent move if it ends up happening. I really do. He'd be with a better manager. Nothing against the Geordies, but what they're doing at Villa at the moment is just very, very good. I think that would be. I feel sorry for him, but I'm sorry. Football is football, and when Donnarumma becomes available at that money, you got to take it. You can't be too sentimental. I don't think he did himself any favors in his interview when he played for in the Salford game, and there's been talk about the fact that he was saying, "Oh well, this isn't what I signed up for." Well, no, it isn't. But hey, sorry, this is the top end of professional sport, and you're all on big money, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You're very unlucky. But if he goes to Villa in the summer and doesn't want to be a number 2, then good luck to him. He's a good goalkeeper, but he's not Donnarumma.
Indeed, and a little bit of a blast from the past. I saw today that Coutinho, the former Liverpool player, I didn't know he was playing his football at Vasco da Gama, but he's had his contract terminated. Apparently, he's on his way to LA Galaxy for a bit of Miami Sun.
I read that. Mental well-being was one of the big things. He's not a happy chappy. He was amazing at Liverpool. I mean, absolutely amazing. And you just never felt that after he left there for all that money that his career ever really carried on at that level. He's a bit like the James Rodriguez type player, like unbelievable. At Liverpool, he was sensational. And you thought he was going to go and take on the world when he moves to Spain. It just never happened.
And the last of all, remember the name Tom Adosi, the teenager from South London playing for Wolves, 18-year-old debutant. Is he the man or player who may have tilted the title race in City's favour? He got the goal against Arsenal at the weekend. He's a 19-year-old. He was on the pitch for 10 minutes on his debut, scored the equaliser, and apparently, a fantastic strike. Well, it was actually. I remember seeing it. But there you go. That's the name. Tom Adosi, the 18-year-old. Is he the guy who scored the goal that might have tilted the title race? It'll be interesting to see. Right, that's been the Theatre of Dreams Extra Time. You've been listening to Dominic Bars and Richard Irvine. I'm Rod Maxwell. We will be back.
And nearly Mark Gay.
And Mo.
Dom, you've got to sort that out. Honestly, you're feeling
I got quite excited. I did.
Yeah, I can see you did actually. You almost got out of your chair. Right. Okay. Speak to you soon. Nice to see you guys.
Speak to me in that lift, Dom. Speak to me in that lift.
Take care.